السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. وأشهد أن نبينا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. أعاذنا الله منها أجمعين. آمين. Brothers and sisters in Islam, just last year, innocent worshippers were brutally murdered, killed in a house of worship for the sole reason of their faith here in Canada. Just a few days ago, across the border, another group of people, innocent worshippers, were killed for similar reasons, for their faith. Now, Islam teaches us that the taking of a life, an innocent life, is equal to the killing of all mankind. And saving one life is equal to saving the entire mankind. This is our religion. The Sharia, the laws that are derived from the Quran and the Sunnah, they came to establish 5 maqasid, 5 important points. From amongst these 5 important points is hifdhun nafs. It teaches us the sanctity of life, that no one is allowed to kill anyone else in an unjust way. Too often do we as Muslims think or only react when something touches us. And you'll see this time and time again, that as Muslims, we only speak up when it affects us, when in reality the religion teaches us to understand that by standing up for the suffering of others, when Allah forbid the time comes when you are suffering yourself, people will do the same for you. There is a poem written by a Christian pastor, and this was written during after the World War II happened. And it really highlights this point. He said, first when people came for the socialists, I did not speak up. Why? Because I was not a socialist. It didn't bother me. Then they came for the trade unionists. And again, I didn't speak up. Why? Because it didn't concern me. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak up. Because again, I'm not a Jew. And finally, they came for me. And by that time, there was no one left to speak up on my behalf. And this is the reality that we face, brothers and sisters. That we are all in the same boat. Last year, Muslims were targeted. This year, the Jewish community is targeted. Tomorrow, another group of people might be targeted. And it is our duty as Muslims to stand up for what is right. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches us in the Quran, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, la yajrimannakum shana'anu qawm, ala an la ta'dilu, i'dilu huwa aqrabu lit-taqwa. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, do not let the hatred that you have for a group of people stop you, prevent you from being just. Be just, because that is closer to the taqwa that we all strive for. And people might say, well, Sheikh, don't you see what is happening in Palestine? Children and women are being killed. I say, yes, of course. We as Muslims are the first ones to stand up for any injustice or towards any injustice. That is evil. And those people deserve justice. But two wrongs does not make a right. And as a Muslim, as a human being, you have to be very careful not to let your hatred cloud your judgment. That you think because something is happening there, it gives me the justification to do something else over here. Muslims have always stood for justice. There's a story where a Jewish man, he went to Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu, Amir al-Mu'mineen, the Khalifa at that time. And he was complaining against another Muslim. They had a dispute. And the Muslim that he was complaining against was not just any Muslim. It was no other than Ali radiallahu anhu, who later on became Amir al-Mu'mineen himself. And Umar radiallahu anhu, he didn't dismiss it, like many of us do today. We already make up our teams. If someone comes and complains about my team, I don't care about the facts. But Umar made a point. He brought Ali radiallahu anhu and the Jewish man. And he told Ali, he said, ya Abul Hasan. He said to him, stand up, Abu Hasan. This was the kunya, the way that he referred to Ali radiallahu anhu. And when he said that, Ali radiallahu anhu's face changed. It changed. There was some sort of displeasure on his face. And once the matter was settled between the two of them, Umar radiallahu anhu asked Ali, he said, what was this change in your face? And we might think that Ali became angry towards Umar, thinking, who is Umar to bring me to justice in front of someone else? But no, that was not the case. Ali said, I became upset because you referred to me with a title of honor. When you use a kunya, when you speak to someone and you use their kunya instead of their first name, it is showing them honor and respect. And Ali radiallahu anhu, he was upset that the Jewish man did not have that same respect shown to him. This is what Islam teaches us. And the very fact that the Jewish man knew that justice would be dealt, the fact that he went to Umar radiallahu anhu in the first place, he knew that Umar radiallahu anhu would stand up for justice, whether it be in favor of the Jewish man or in favor of Ali radiallahu anhu. But today, even amongst ourselves, people might say, don't go to the Imam and complain because he's just going to side with these people. Don't go to that person because he's just going to side with his group of people. Whereas the companions, they show us the true meaning of this word, justice in Islam. And when we stand up for the rights of other people, not only are we practicing our religion, but we are also showing the humanity. And we, if Allah forbid, again, if it happens that the Muslims face difficulty, then people will remember that the Muslims stood up for what was right. And if all that does not matter, at the very least, you did your duty as a Muslim, and when you face Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you can say so. أقول ما تسمعون أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين من كل ذنب فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله الحمد لله على إحسانه والشكر له على توفيقه وامتنانه وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له تعظيما لشانه وأشهد أن نبينا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. Brothers and sisters in Islam, I wish to touch on a different subject just for a few moments. When it comes to the khutbah, often we see people who don't understand how important it is to remain silent and respectful during the khutbah. And this happens time and time again, where people might be talking during the khutbah, which is not permissible. Or you see people answering phone calls during the khutbah. This is not permissible. Part of attending the khutbah and gaining the reward from being here is being respectful to those around you. People who come here, they come to listen to the little wisdom that is shared, to learn a little bit about their faith. The very least that we can do as human beings, as Muslims, is to respect those around us, that we do not distract people. The Prophet ﷺ told us in more than one hadith that the person who plays with stones during the khutbah has committed a very serious matter. And that is not the one who speaks. The one who speaks during the khutbah is even worse so. But imagine the one who plays, the one who is distracted. And if anyone asks, what was the topic of today's khutbah? Or what was the topic of last week's khutbah? Many of us, we won't remember, because our minds are so preoccupied. Our minds are somewhere else. We come only to pray and alhamdulillah we leave. But this should not be the mindset of a Muslim. So inshallah, please take that into consideration and be the first ones to practice upon what is said. ثم اعلموا أيها المؤمنون أن الله أمركم بأمر بدأ به بنفسه وثنى بملائكة قدسه وثلث بكم أيها المؤمنون من جنه وإنسه فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وارض اللهم عن خلفائه الأربعة أبي بكر وعمر وعثمان وعلي وعن سائر الصحابة ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وعنا معهم برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين اللهم اشف مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين وارحم موتانا وموتى المسلمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار عباد الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون فاذكروا الله يذكركم واشكروه على نعمه يزدكم ولذكر الله تعالى أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون وأقم الصلاة